Alright, box and whisker plots. And this is actually going to be part 1. Okay, you guys have been asking about these. I know you saw them on MSA. We keep talking about them. They're going to be on HSA. They are. And now you get to learn about them. You're going to need paper and pencil. Make sure you're ready to go. Okay? We're going to define what in the world is a box and whisker plot. We're going to identify the parts, and then we're going to actually create one. Okay? Stick with me. This one might be a teensy bit long. Here we go. Box and whisker plot. What is this thing? Well, it looks like that. Okay? You have a thing called a box. That's this part. Then you got some whiskers. That would be these little things right here, sticking outside of that. Okay? They are on a number line. Okay? They have to be on a number line. You have to have some sort of point of reference. Okay? Box and whisker plot. Give yourself a little drawing. I am going to be looking for these labels. Okay? If you don't know what things are called, you're not going to be able to figure it out. Alright, now here's another part of a box and whisker problem that you need to know about. In a box and whisker plot, there are 3 quartiles. Okay? These quartiles, now when you say quartile, you think of 4, I'm hoping. Well, it does technically break it into 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? However, quartile 1, whoops, let me get the right color, is all of that. Okay? It's the first half of the data. That's quartile 1. Whoops. Quartile 3, back here at the end, he is the second half of the data. Okay? And then we have quartile 2. I don't like that. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm back. I know what I'm talking about now. Alright. Quartile 1 is right here. And this is what I was going with. Okay, so this is quartile 1. And what that means is it's the middle of the first half of the data. Right here. So quartile 1 is the middle of the first half of the data. So look at that. I have half of the data over here, and quartile 1 is in the middle. Please write that definition down right now. That's going to be important. Okay? Quartile 3. Here we go. That's all of this right here. That's quartile 3. What it means is, though, quartile 3 is this spot right here. The middle of the second half of the data. Okay? So quartile 1 is the middle of the first half of the data. Quartile 3 is the middle of the second half of the data. So if we look at quartile 2, which is in the middle, that's the middle of how much of the data? All of the data, right there in the middle. Okay? So I'm going to repeat that, and I want you to write this down. You might have to pause me. Okay? Quartile 1, middle, median, of the first half of the data. Quartile 3, the middle of the second half of the data. Quartile 2, since he's in the middle, he's the middle of all of the data. We're going to do an example in just a moment. Don't panic. Okay? So here's what I wanted to point out before. That this is divided now into 4 sections. And my question to you was, how many quarters are in a dollar? Well, there's 4. And each quarter is worth how much? 25. Okay? So each piece of this box and whisker plot is 25%. Each piece. Even though it doesn't look like they might be equal, they are. This is 25% of the data. This is 25% of the data. I'm going to repeat it, 25% and 25%. Because from end to end, from whisker to whisker, that's what percentage of the data? 25, 25, 25, 25. 100% of the data. When I said half, well, what's 25 plus 25? That's 50. That's half of the data. Quartile 3, that's the middle of the second half of the data. 25 plus 25 is 50%. Okay? And then we had quartile 2, which was right there in the middle. I had 50 over here and 50 over here. Very important. All right. More vocabulary, things that you need to know. For a box and whisker plot, how you get your whiskers are your lower and upper extremes. Okay? That means your lowest number, okay, that would be directly above here, and then your highest number. This one looks to be like it's 75. Okay? That is what makes your little whiskers. Here we go. This I want you to do. On whatever paper you're using, I want you to trace your hand right now. Trace it so that you have a hand that looks like this. And I want you to label it. Lower extreme, quartile 1, 2, 3, and upper extreme. These are the 5 pieces that you need to make a box and whisker plot. So I don't care if on the test you have to trace your hand and give me those 5 pieces, because these are the 5 pieces you will need every time in order to make a box and whisker plot. And also, please write down this data, because we need some data to make one. All right, you got it down? All right, here we go. Make sure you can still see. Yep, you can. Okay, first things first. I've got some data. What should I do with it? I hope you're saying put it in order. Miss Archin, put it in order. Okay, there it is. It's in order. Now, just for our sake, I'm going to get rid of that so we don't have to look at it anymore. It's already in order. I want you to do your pinky and, your thumb and your pinky first. Those are the 2 easy ones. What are your lower extreme and what's your upper extreme? Lower extreme, upper extreme. Whoop! He's my low number. He's my high number. There we go. We have 2 pieces of data already. We need 3 more. Okay? We need quartile 1, 2, and 3. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. All right, I would suggest starting with your middle finger. Now, I'm not going to hold that up by itself because that would not be very nice. You need to start with here, quartile number 2. That was the middle of all of the data, okay? So the middle number of all of the data. So here I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had 8 pieces of data. So that's an even number, so I end up with these 2 in the middle. So who is technically dead in the middle of 6 and 8? You don't need your calculator. It's 7. So my next piece of information, quartile 2, is the value of 7. It's 7 splits my data. I have above 7 and I have below 7. You okay with me there? All right, moving on. Here we go. Quartile number 1. So remember what I said, quartile number 1 was the middle of the first half of the data. So I don't even care about these numbers right now. I just want to look at the first half of data. Who comes in the middle there? Well, I got 3 and 5. Who's in the middle of 3 and 5? It's 4. So 4 is the middle number of the first half of my data. So there's now my index finger. All right, we got 1 left, the ring finger. Quartile number 3. That is the middle of the second half of the data. Okay? The second half of the data. So, come on, not rocket science. What's the middle of 10 and 12? It's 11. Okay? Obviously, your numbers are not going to be this nice all the time. You will have to use a calculator. But we made them pretty easy for this one. Now, do I have a handful of data? Do I have all of my pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have all pieces. Let's construct this thing. All right. First of all, I told you have to have a number line. Okay? And if we look at our numbers, it goes from 2 to 16. So I probably want to go from like 0 to maybe 20 on my number line. And I can count by ones because 0 to 20, that's not that many spaces. Okay, so here we go. Got my number line. All right, we're going to plot these one at a time. Start with your extremes. Okay, what is this? Start with your extremes. Okay, we got a dot for 3. There's one there. Where are we going to put this blue one? What was my upper extreme? 16. Let's put a dot there. All right. Now, let's go middle finger. 7. We need one at 7, so right above 7. There's another piece. Oh, did I get that right on there? Let's move it over a little bit. There we go. 7. Now, we got to do the quartiles, the index and the ring. So, I need one at 4, right there. And I need one at 11, right there. Now, you got to make your box and your whiskers. Now, where did I tell you your whiskers are? What two colors are going to represent my whiskers? Red and green, purple and blue. Now, where's my box going to be? Between what two colors? Green and purple. Here we go. I'm going to fly mine in. Let's see. I got those pretty on point. 7, 11 was there. I might need to move him just a teensy. There we go. There we go. There's my box and whisker plot. Now, trick question. How much is each section worth? What percentage? What percentage? 25%. This section, red to green, is 25%. Pink to, green to pink, 25%. Pink to purple, 25%. The purple to the blue, 25%. Now, those two do not look like they're both equal to 25%, but they are. Okay? 25% of my data falls here, 25% falls here, okay? And so forth. That's a box and whisker plot. That's the end of my slides. You must have this hand. This is so important to help you make sure that you get all of your parts. If you need to go back and add more to your notes, please do that now. Thank you. Have a good night.